Welcome to History with Herodotus, where the boundaries of time and space converge to reveal the intricate tapestry of human experience. Today, we embark on a fascinating journey to explore the rise of the Mongol Empire, a phenomenon that would shake the foundations of the ancient world and leave an indelible mark on the course of history. In the early 13th century, the vast expanse of the Eurasian steppe, stretching from the Pacific Ocean to the Caspian Sea, was home to a multitude of nomadic tribes, each with their own distinct culture, language, and traditions. Among these tribes, one name would soon become synonymous with conquest, pillage, and unparalleled military prowess: the Mongols. In the late 12th century, the steppes were dominated by various confederations of tribes, including the Karites, the Nemans, and the Merkits. These groups often clashed with one another, vying for control over the scarce resources and strategic trade routes that crisscrossed the region. Meanwhile, to the south, the powerful Jin dynasty ruled over northern China, while the western Xia dynasty controlled the northwestern regions of modern-day China. In the 1160s, a young Temujin, later known as Genghis Khan, emerged as a minor leader among the Mongol tribes. His early life was marked by hardship and struggle, with his family often finding themselves at the mercy of rival clans. However, through a combination of cunning, bravery, and strategic alliances, Temujin began to build a formidable reputation as a military leader and a unifying force among the fractious Mongol tribes. The endless expanse of grasslands, the unforgiving climate, and the constant threat of attack from rival tribes all contributed to a culture that valued strength, loyalty, and adaptability above all else. The early 13th century also saw the rise of other influential figures, including Jamukha, a powerful Mongol leader who would become one of Temujin's most trusted allies and eventual rivals. The complex relationship between these two men, marked by periods of cooperation and conflict, would play a significant role in shaping the destiny of the Mongols. As we navigate the intricate landscape of steppe politics, it becomes apparent that the seeds of the Mongol Empire were sown in the fertile soil of tribal rivalries, strategic alliances, and the unyielding ambition of a few extraordinary individuals. As the early 13th century unfolded, Temujin's reputation as a skilled military leader and a unifying force among the Mongol tribes continued to grow. In 206, he was formally recognized as the Khan, or ruler, of the Mongols, marking a significant turning point in his career. This momentous occasion was marked by a grand assembly of Mongol leaders who gathered to acknowledge Temujin's leadership and pledge their loyalty to him. The event took place on the banks of the Onan River, where Temujin had spent much of his early life, and it was here that he took on the title of Genghis Khan, or Universal Ruler. The years that followed saw Genghis Khan launch a series of military campaigns against neighboring tribes, seeking to expand Mongol territory and consolidate his power. In 1207, he led a successful campaign against the Merkits, a rival tribe that had long been a thorn in the side of the Mongols. The Merkits were defeated, and their leader, Tokhtoa, was forced to flee. This victory marked an important milestone in Genghis Khan's rise to power, as it demonstrated his ability to lead successful military campaigns and expand Mongol territory. As the Mongol Empire continued to grow, Genghis Khan implemented a series of reforms aimed at creating a more centralized and efficient state. He established a written code of laws known as the Yasa, which outlined rules for governance, taxation, and social behavior. He also created a system of administrative divisions, with appointed officials responsible for governing different regions of the empire. This system allowed for greater control over the vast territories under Mongol rule and facilitated the collection of taxes and tributes. In 1211, Genghis Khan launched a major campaign against the Jin dynasty in northern China, seeking to expand Mongol territory and gain access to the rich trade routes of the region. The campaign was marked by a series of brutal battles, including the siege of the Jin capital, Zhongdu. The city fell to the Mongols in 1204, after a prolonged and bloody siege. The Jin emperor, Xuanzang, was forced to flee, and the Mongols established a new capital at Yanjing, which would become a major center of trade and culture. The conquest of northern China marked a significant turning point in the history of the Mongol Empire, as it brought vast new territories and resources under Mongol control. It also marked the beginning of a period of rapid expansion, as Genghis Khan and his successors sought to extend their dominion over other regions of Asia and Europe. As the Mongol Empire continued to grow, its leaders would face new challenges and opportunities, from the complexities of governing diverse populations to the lure of rich trade routes and untapped resources. Genghis Khan's military campaigns were often marked by brutal violence and destruction, as he sought to intimidate his enemies and demonstrate the power of the Mongol Empire. However, he was also a skilled diplomat and strategist, able to form alliances with other leaders and negotiate favorable treaties. As he once said, "The art of war is not just about fighting, but about winning the hearts and minds of the people." This approach would serve him well in his dealings with other rulers and leaders as he sought to build a vast and enduring empire. In 1219, Genghis Khan launched a major campaign against the Khwarezmid Empire, a powerful state that controlled much of modern-day Iran and Central Asia. The campaign was sparked by a series of diplomatic incidents, including the execution of Mongol emissaries and the refusal of the Khwarezmid ruler to submit to Mongol authority. The war with the Khwarezmids would prove to be one of the most challenging and bloody conflicts of Genghis Khan's career, as he faced determined resistance from a well-organized and heavily armed enemy. The Mongol army, however, was a formidable force, with its lightning-fast cavalry, skilled archers, and disciplined infantry. As they swept across the Khwarezmid Empire, they left a trail of destruction in their wake, burning cities and towns, and slaughtering anyone who dared to resist. The Khwarezmid ruler, Muhammad II, was forced to flee, and his empire was eventually absorbed into the Mongol Empire. This victory marked another significant milestone in Genghis Khan's rise to power, as it demonstrated his ability to lead successful military campaigns against powerful and well-organized enemies. As the Mongol Empire continued its expansion, Genghis Khan's successors, including his son and successor Iyejidai Khan, and later his grandson Munkeh Khan, oversaw a period of rapid growth and consolidation. The empire reached its zenith during the reign of Kublai Khan, who established the Yuan dynasty in China and extended Mongol rule into present-day Russia, Eastern Europe, and the Middle East. The Mongols' military campaigns were often marked by brutality and destruction, but they also facilitated trade, cultural exchange, and the spread of ideas across vast distances. One of the most significant legacies of the Mongol Empire was the creation of a unified system of roads, known as the Yam, which stretched from China to Eastern Europe. This network enabled merchants, travelers, and messengers to move quickly and efficiently across the empire, facilitating the exchange of goods, ideas, and cultures. As the Venetian traveler Marco Polo noted, "The road is so well maintained that you can travel safely, even with a large quantity of treasure, without fear of being robbed or attacked." The Mongol Empire's tolerance for diversity and its willingness to adapt to local customs and institutions also contributed to its enduring legacy. The Mongols allowed local leaders to maintain their power and autonomy, as long as they swore loyalty to the empire and paid tribute. This approach enabled the Mongols to govern a vast and diverse territory with relative ease, and it helped to promote cultural exchange and understanding between different regions. Despite its many achievements, the Mongol Empire eventually began to decline, weakened by internal conflicts, external pressures, and the Black Death, which devastated much of the known world in the 14th century. The empire fragmented into smaller khanates, including the Golden Horde in Russia, the Ilkhanate in Persia, and the Yuan dynasty in China. However, the legacy of the Mongol Empire continued to shape world history, from the rise of the Ottoman Empire to the modern-day borders of nations in Asia and Eastern Europe. Today, the rise of the Mongol Empire is remembered as a pivotal moment in world history, one that facilitated cultural exchange, trade, and the spread of ideas across vast distances. As the historian Morris Rossaby has noted, the Mongols were the first people to create a truly global system, one that connected Europe, Asia, and the Middle East in a web of trade, culture, and politics. The Mongol Empire's impact can still be seen in the modern-day cultures, languages, and traditions of nations across Asia and Eastern Europe, a testament to the enduring power of this medieval empire. That's all for today's History with Herodotus. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, remember that to understand the present, we must first understand the past.